Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to episode number 6 here in Vagrous Driven Realms. So there's a lot of things that we have to do. We have to check the previous couple of entries for the codex. We have a suggestion from Javik to smelt the scrap metal to allow the payment for the crew, because we're in a situation in which the crew might revolt against us. So, in previous episodes, when we left the Black Knight Sedarius, he said, "Take the holy symbols of the fallen to the temple of Sergorod." And he also says that we are prohibited to sell the Black Knight's weapons on the market. So we are not able to do that, by the way. If we go here to the market, we can see here that we have this Sergorodite arms and armor gathered from the slain Sergorodite contingent. We also have beast lures as well, prepared to attack all manner of predators, and the medical supplies plus the Asculite charms. Magical charms enchanted by Ascul's priests. They attract most kinds of undead for a brief period of time, and so can be used to lure them away. So, we have a couple of things here. We have ivory. By the way, ivory, it is going to cost, I think, is 5 lirgs and 4 changers, which is pretty good. We can sell those. We have a lot of things here that we can buy. We can buy bone, fruit, mushrooms, bronze. There's a lot of resources here that I am really excited to take a look and understand what they can do for us. Also, we have equipment, let's remember. Blinders and combat saddles. We have hunting animals, extra storage, mining equipment. This one here increases the flea options and beast defense. Bone and obsidian spikes are mounted on beasts' harness to deter or skewer attacks. A lot of things here. So what we have to do here, because this is the area in which we choose where to go. We have the mission that was given to us by the Black Knight, Sedarius, and also we have the package that we have to give to Scornar. But we have to talk with a couple of people here, couple of individuals. One is Gladius Darrow, which is in the Slackford, which we are going to assume that is here. So Gladius Darrow is going to, or must, give us information about the Black Knight fate. By the way, we have to give him information, negating all understanding of the whereabouts of the Black Knight. We don't know anything about him. We never met him, but we have to attest the signs of battle. We have seen the battle, so we have to give him this information, and Javik must scan his mind. That is in the Slackford. Then we have to find Vardis Pedius. He's the patrol leader. It is said that he found a camp near the Voiceless Lake, and the hostiles there ambushed the patrol, and he was the only man alive. He's found in the Rusty Pugio, apparently. The Rusty Pugio is, I think is a tavern or something. Let me see. Enter the temple of a school. Investigate. Yeah. So we have to investigate in order to reach that place. And then we have the criminal hub, the smelters collegium. They are responsible for arming the abolitionists. And we have to learn about the contacts of the slave lovers. The HQ is in Gallows Anvil Tavern. So, I think that the first thing that we have to do at this point is to meet with Scornar. He is going to be found at Lavinia's watering hole. There we go. So Lavinia's watering hole is one of the most notorious establishments of the disreputable district called Scoria. There's no sign or inscription to let you know that the decrepit building at the back of the alley is a tavern, but the putrid smell of cheap booze makes it quite clear. You nod to the orc bouncer and enter through the small door. I like how they have orc bouncers here. The inside of the place is no better. Dirty lichen hangs from a low ceiling. The walls are sticky and your eyes are watering thanks to the thick smoke. Dozens of local derelicts are hunched over their clay tankards. A quick talk with the tainted bartender gains you entry to the back room where Scornar is expecting someone with a package. What is it, tainted? The tainted are essentially humans who contracted or were born with a magical disease called the taint. Okay, interesting. The taint begins with a period of incubation when the victim falls gravely sick and suffers seizures and spells for days or weeks. About half of them perish during this interval. The transformation starts after a day or so following the initial seizure, and the changes remain for life, though in some rare cases, further changes manifest later. Symptoms are always physical, but are often paired with serious mental disorders, either due to the traumatic nature of the transformation or the nature of the taint itself. Nobody knows for certain. The most common symptoms include skin color and texture change, fleshy growths, boil and scars, and large or shrunken body parts almost never symmetrically, and the merging of the physical aspects of different species. The merging of physical aspects, part beast or part human mutants, are fairly common. Ever since the calamity, mutations of all kinds are commonplace on the continent. A correlation between the arcane powers unleashed by the cataclysm and the mutations have never been validated by sages or magic users. Nevertheless, everyone believes there to be one. There's no telling how it spreads or why it attacks the ones it does. Its workings have eluded medical science altogether. These days, every third human on the continent is tainted. Children between the ages of 8 and 16 contract the disease more often than adults. Children of tainted are often born healthy, while healthy parents can produce tainted offspring. So this is basically the fantasy world version of radiation, as far as I understand. Though high society still shuns these unfortunates, they have become so common that most people don't even notice them, and a lot of them tainted can live full lives. Since apparently proximity does not aid the spread of the taint, pogroms against the tainted generally ceased all oversharing a long time ago. Interestingly, no other race seems to contract the taint, though there's rumors of elves getting tainted and dying of it, or killed by their own people. Dwarves do get mutations and end up becoming bestial, often slain when they attack others, yet it remains extremely rare. So the taint is going to affect most likely humans, and we have confirmed elves in here. Let's talk to Scornar. There we go. A sleepy-looking Dashmahan guard lets you into a back room through a curtain doorway, but Javik has to stay outside. Inside, several motley individuals are playing cards. One of them, a tall man with red hair and beard, rises and sends the others out of the room with a wave of his hand while offering a seat to you at the table. You take a moment to look at each other up and down before you comply. Scornar is a large man with broad shoulders, long limbs, and a thick red beard, contrasted by his boyish handsomeness. So he's like a Nordic man, a Viking. He's clearly not of imperial origin, but if you had to guess, you'd say he wasn't born on the continent. Foreign symbols cover his arms and neck in the form of tattoos. He's wearing a bronze breastplate, and the white great fur of a predator is covering his shoulder. An impressive bearded axe with an iron head leans against the wall next to him. He makes no threatening move, yet you can feel he is a dangerous man. Welcome, Vagrus. I am the one called Scornar, the blue-faced, he says. You do not mention that his face appears to be human color. I've been expecting someone with a delivery. He sits down across you and pours both of you some ale, smiling. Can I have it now? You hand him the package. We gain 2 insight by giving him this. Scorner smiles mischievously as he unwraps the small leather package. He's unwrapping this in front of us and carefully observes a golden ring decorated with silver symbols. He wraps it again and pockets the package, just checking if it's genuine. More for the craftsman's sake than yours. He says upon seeing your quizzical expression. He salutes you with his own mug and drinks up. You join him. I'm grateful to you, friend, for your part in this. I am sure Narbo compensated you somehow, however you might want to do business with me later nonetheless. You'll find that I can help you with a lot of things in the city. I have to leave now, but I'll see you around. With that, Scorner leaves the room through a side door and you rejoin Javik going back to the common room. You leave the watering hole for now. Okay, so let's think about it. If we enter the temple, the vengeful god will grant boons. Lavinus watering hole. We can return there. Interesting. Seek out the foundries. Okay, let's go to exploring the city. You walk the streets of the city under ashen skies, taking a few of your best with you. Avernum is large, a city of opportunities, but also of untold dangers. One can find all sorts of interesting things if one looks. This one here is available daily. Go for a walk and see what you can find. You happen upon a cruel scene while walking the streets. A crowd has gathered around a slave who is lying on the ground of the plaza, beaten and bruised, begging for mercy. Apparently the slave displeased his owner somehow, who decided to punish him. He's watching from an alley as the lynch mob is preparing to stone the unfortunate man. You offer to buy the slave. By the way, we don't have too much money. 8 changers. His owner is happy to oblige as he cares more for the coin than for his grudge. So we can offer the deal. It is lower than the local price. Take part in killing him. Is it mercy or perhaps hatred? Either way, the man is soon dead. Leave the scene. The slave's pitiful wailing can be heard for quite a while. I think we're going to do this one even though it's going to cost us. So we pay for it. You take the beaten slave away from the plaza. He keeps thanking you to the point of annoyance. He promises to serve you to the best of his abilities. Whatever are you going to do with him? Keep him, even though you bought him at a discount. He has to earn his keep. Let him go. Your reasons are your own. The man is shocked, but thanks you one last time. Let's keep him. So we gain one slave. You walk the streets of the city under ashen skies, taking a few of your best with you. We go back to the comitatus. Okay, so we have an extra slave here. Definitely, it was cheaper. It was really, really cheaper. Okay, now let's go and investigate. You decide to follow up one of the leads given to you by Cetarius. You can only pursue one of the 3 investigations per day. So we can find Vardis Pendius, the Rusty Pugio, the Smelter's Collegium in the Gallows Anvil, or the Magistrate Galudis Darrow in Slackfort. Let's go. First to seek out the Smelter's Collegium. Now, by the way, we can read about the Collegium here. So what is the Collegium? The Collegium is a traditional imperial association, kind of a guild with its own rules, rights, and obligations. In the Fourth Age, they have become little more than organized crime syndicates that run the underworld of imperial cities. The Collegia originate from the early days of the Third Age from the capital city of Xeryn. So the capital city is called Xeryn. Where's Xeryn, by the way? See, if I am to try to find something, where can I do it? Where is Xeryn? I want to see where is it. I want to find it. Here. Davin, Angrid, Radan. Where is it? If someone knows where is Xeryn, I will be... Oh, there you go. Xeryn City. Xeryn City is in the south. And it is located here near to in the coast of the inner sea. So I have found it. By the way, it's so far away that it will take us something around 6 months in Earth's time, that is. We have to cross the province, and okay, interesting. There's Hadrinium, Arvumes, and Lyrinia. And we have to go south from Torsak Shelter. It's pretty far away. Very interesting. So, the Collegia originated there, where merchants and craftsmen began to organize themselves into guilds, okay, and unions to protect their rights or manipulate the market to their advantage. The Senate soon stepped in to regulate these associations, which led to intense political struggle. The Collegia were eventually given rights along with obligations. Many of them oversaw parts of civic life or services. For example, the Carpenters' Collegium was responsible for repairing city buildings in exchange for exclusive rights in lumbering and carpentry businesses. The institutions soon spread to other imperial cities and provinces, now each with their own set of guilds and associations operating under imperial law. Even during the Golden Age, The collegia began to devolve into organized crime syndicates when the opportunistic and unscrupulous members of society began to see a chance to hide behind the law and spread their influence through the collegia. The Fourth Age saw the return of the collegia and the associated crime syndicates to the capital and large cities that were reclaimed by the empire. Their operations have become more and more brazen, and people are so accustomed to their ways that nobody ever thinks of questioning them. The collegia are rarely involved in civic duties nowadays and are rights-protecting organizations only on the surface. Instead, they oversee all criminal activity in cities, including racketeering, prostitution, smuggling, fencing, burglary, begging, and gambling dens. They often have a great say in mercenary work and even sports activities like gladiator fights or chariot races. This culture here of the Imperium is very similar to that of the medieval Roman culture late empire. Most collegia are run by a single strong leader whose person may often change thanks to brutal power struggles. Under the leader are the captains, trusted officers who run most of the day-to-day business. Under them are members who are fully accepted into the collegium and are often responsible for an area of the city or a specific business. This essentially creates a criminal life model and rank ladder that can be climbed. City officials are seldom ignorant of collegia activity and of the collegia activity and are more likely to be members themselves in secret, or at least benefit from the bribes to remain silent. So basically, this smelters collegium is the organized crime of the city, and the government, the Imperium, knows about this. So we have reached to the Imperium, to the Collegium's headquarters in a large tavern called Gallows Anvil, right next to a bath house at the border of Scoria, on the streets below the Villa district, filled with foundries and metallurgical workshops. The place is among the better ones in town, and the regulars are smiths, smelters, their novices, and merchants, all belonging to the Smelters Guild. It would not be difficult to find someone higher up in the Guild and talk to them. Javik can scan whoever you talk for surface thoughts, but asking about their possible connections to Abolitionist might arise suspicion. So how do you want to approach? Wanting to deal with the black market, we require one, which is not so much. Introduce yourself as someone seeking to join abolitionists. No, that is going to be risky. Attempt to bribe them for information. Let's go ahead this. I'm a merchant. I'm actually using my own resources to do all of this work. Hopefully, we're going to get something in return. The two fellows, you and Javik, end up talking to representatives of the Collegium, are quite open to letting you buy wares from the black market for a modest contribution to the Guild. They do have some questions about how you learn of their involvement with the market, though. After you assure them it was from businesses associates outside of the city, they seem content. Then they ask you what kind of goods. Now this is interesting. Cheap contraband they got from ill-fortuned comitati, or you want to buy slaves. That one is the one that we need. Because if they are helping the slaves, there is going to be a little bit of a contradiction, but let's do that. The market that does not deal in the slaves at all. There you go. One of them, a young fellow with a crew cut, says, "It appears that whoever told you of its existence neglected to tell you this. I'm afraid we can't help you with that, so you just have to work with the regular slave market down at the bazaar. You can get any further with them, it seems time to leave." But at least we have the understanding that they are not on the business of slaves, and that tells something. So you consult Javik when you are far from Gallows Anvil, and he looks exhausted. "Sorry, boss. It was very tough jumping between mines. Didn't get much from them apart from a sense that our nightly friend's suspicion was well founded. They surely have dealings with the abolitionists, but protect their identities far more vehemently than that of simple illegal business partners. I could not get much, except a glimpse of a street with a long yellow building when one guy was thinking about contacting their associates. Okay, that'll have to do it then. A yellow glimpse of a street with a long yellow building. Let's go to that place. Where is it? Investigate. Okay, we cannot investigate more. It's just one per day. So let's go to the Slack Fort first. The mighty Slack Fort is the headquarters of the city guard, the Avernus Legion, and the prefect is himself. The fort overlooks the city from atop a hill on the south side, its main tower looming threateningly above the streets close by. That's why I think it's this one here. Made entirely of the same kind of dark stone, the Slack Fort is completely black now, thanks to the layers of soot that covers its surfaces. Yeah, evidently. Scrutinized briefly by the grim legionaries at the gate, you enter the courtyard of the fort, which houses the few institutions the public can visit: the offices of the city guard, the courts, and the bounty offices. Reports Darius to the Avernus Legion. Perhaps you can get rid of him that way. Ha! Are you kidding me? Go to the bounty office. The bounty office is housed in a small, dilapidated building behind the curtains. A group of unsavory types is awaiting in front of it to be called in. Bounty hunters. Mean-looking trophies and a cruel weapon hang from their belts. By the way, we need a little bit of a coin here, so perhaps we can get something. You wait in line to speak to the general bounty officer and get in after a quarter of an hour. A diminutive, bespectacled man, the bureaucrat gives you a boring speech on the bounties that are available. You figure there's no point in competing with local hunters for city bounties, but the ones out in the wasteland are your turf. Bounty on a especially large jacra. There is a bounty on a pesky outlaw chieftain, on a roaming undead abomination. Well, let's get this one. I wonder what draws men to the life of an outlaw. Take Covius, for example. He was a fine gladiator with a great reputation. What a dashing fellow, I thought. What decapitations! And what does he do? He runs away with a bunch of gladiators and lowly slaves to live out there in the searing heat of the desert, preying on honest citizens such as yourself. It truly escaped me how it's better than here. But you can't teach his kind. I suppose he's just a Sharduk, and as much as we adore him in the arena, Sands outside the arena shall run red with his blood for his crimes, and you shall be his executioner. Bring his head back intact, though. I mean, the office will perhaps want to keep it around. What is a Sharduk? A Sharduk are a culture of humans who managed to adapt to the cruel deserts of the East. Typically have gray eyes, suntanned skin, which was originally quite fair, and light hair. They are well built and extremely hardy. Just before the calamity, when the Empire was in the midst of brutally subjugating the nations of Tark and Xeryn, an immense fleet of gigantic ships landed on the eastern shores, filled with the exiled people of the Sharduk, already fairly savage after a long period of social collapse in their homeland to the far east. The invaders decimated the great eastern plains. the breadbasket of the empire. The legions responded but only managed to achieve a shaky armistice that the Senate accepted in the hopes of buying time against the rebelling provinces. Then the calamity struck. The Sharduk followed the guidance of their gods, boarded their ship, and waited out the calamity off the shore. Upon returning, they saw that their new lands have become terrible. Bleak deserts, but it was never in their nature to give up. So instead of despairing, the Sharduk accepted the challenges presented by the New World and adapted to the Great Eastern Desert where they dwell even today. Today, the Sharduk are wandering tribesmen who hunt and ride giant lizards and are feared throughout the Empire. They are considered cruel and barbaric, though perhaps they are not much more barbaric than many other tribal cultures of the continent, yet they have a terrible reputation, and since they are at odds with everyone else thanks to their marauding lifestyle, nobody likes to see them anywhere other than their deserts. Sharduk would kill his own mother if it meant getting a few lirg. It's a common saying in the Empire. Okay, let's take the bounty hunt. We can get also the abomination. I'm gonna take all of them. Undead silly expression. Shouldn't it not be on live? Sorcerer's reanimation or not, they are corpses no more, but enough of semantics. There's a particularly nasty creature that roams the southern edge of the Molten Tongue and attack on sight. It has caused some grief among travelers who run afoul of it. The Utvorar can't or won't do anything about it, so it's up to us, again, to set things right. That creature belonged under the earth, so put it back there and bring back some part of it to show me that the deed is done. Oh, and one more thing. It has this silly tendency to draw other unlive to itself, so it will probably not be alone. I will assume that this is very far away. Because Udvarar is a 2 days travel south. We still have to go to Ashheim. I don't know. Could try. Okay. And then we got the Jakra. It appears that there's an overgrown monster that leads its lesser kin against travelers and outposts in the desert south of here. Who knew that Jakras can figure out social hierarchies of all things, yet we cannot. Let this miraculous evolution continue, and thus you should bring back the creature's head. Okay. We leave here, and now I think we have to go to the... I want to go here and start selling stuff, so I'm going to sell this. We have leather from the hides of beasts. I have 5. Let's do it. I think that's the best thing we can do because we have our crew here and we have to pay them. We have a debt of 1 bros and 1 lirg to them. So we return to the Mansio and we Avernum offers goods the Sadirar need. Stressed. Pay now. And we're going to go for a good night's sleep in the Mance's room, I think. The normal one. No, that cost money, so I'm not going to do that. Let's see if we can talk with him. What he thinks of Avernum. Okay, what do you think of Avernum? Oh yeah, I remember you haven't been there for a long time. This provincial town, like on the great cities of the Empire, sure, it's not as large as Davin or Torzak's shelter, but it's busy city with a lot of people and commerce. Okay, trade for the region concentrates on Avernum. Okay, now we can continue with the investigation. This time we're going to go for the Centurion Vardis Pendius. And we have an entry here for the Centurion. A Centurions are officers in imperial armies. Originally, a Centurion led one company, the same as the Roman style, but that role changed much later on, and now they can lead groups ranging from companies to cohorts. Some of them fill in with important roles in a legion. Veteran Centurions could count on a life of relative wealth thanks to their service to the empire, but many went on serving in political offices. The Rusty Pugio is a fairly clean establishment with primarily soldiers and veteran regulars. Because of this, not many shady fellows visit the place. I think this is the generic image for taverns. That doesn't mean, however, that the regulars are well behaved or sober. You can see the legionnaire passing out on a bench while a few auxiliary troopers are playing a dice game in the far corner, laughing and swearing foully. You ask the barman if Vardis Pendius is here, and he points you to a swarthy, short, pot-bellied man in his 40s, wearing the dirty armor and uniform of a centurion. His helmet rests next to him on the bar. He's drinking alone. Sit next to him and buy him a drink. Vardis Pendius eyes the drink suspiciously, but his alcoholism gets the better of him, and giving you a friendly smile, he takes it. What do I owe this gift, friend, fellow soldier? You don't look like that to me. He slurs his words as he eyes you up and down. The two of you start to chat, with Javik sitting at a table in line of sight. You know, you have to bring the conversation to the patrol. He went on near the molten tongue, so that your friend can read his corresponding thoughts. Yet Pendius seems a little too sober not to be worried. So if we do our best to guide the conversation, we have a moderate chance, but we have to continue to buy drinks until he's drunk enough. Or we can increase this one by 15%. Let's do this one. Pendius has formidable resilience when it comes to booze, yet you manage to get him blind stinking drunk. You also guide the conversation to his notorious patrol to the north, that he was the only one who survived. Not even his intoxication can hide his fear when he talks about the Recon mission. Not what do you think it was? Just poor boys deserves, not this, he laments. You could swear there are tears in his eyes. He mumbles about the whole affair not being what it seemed. Soon afterwards you excuse yourself, but by then Pendius is no coherent anyway. Oh, so it was better just to try a little bit more and get this thing here. You go back to the Mansio, where Javik tells you he was mostly successful in reading the drunkard's thoughts on the patrol. Oh, okay. He's clearly paranoid about the whole matter. He recalled his comrades being killed, but not out there in the wastes. It happened in some kind of a death trap in a large room. All young recruits. I think they publicly set up his patrol only to kill off everyone but him and told him to pretend they got slaughtered by abolitionists in the north. Basically, they created a fake story to make our nightly associate and his cronies think that they were going to find a camp there. It boggles my mind how far they went to protect something. He kept thinking about Scoria, the district here in the town. Maybe the massacre was done here. You're done with this part of the investigation. And because we cannot go more again to the investigation, I think we are going to try our luck and try to find Lavinus. I think it's gonna be a good place. So you nod to the Arc Bouncer and enter through the small doorway that leads to the cramped common room of Lavinus' watering hole. Dirty legion hangs from a low ceiling. Dozen local derelicts. This is the same. What'll it be, friend? Do you need to hire some strong arms, send an uncomfortable message, sell something that's too hot on your hands? Lend you muscle. Barter with him. Ask how you can help him. Ask why he is called the Blue-Faced. Ask how you can help him. Scornar scratches his beard thoughtfully. That's a very generous offer. There might be something you could help me with. See, I can deal with most things here, but out in the wasteland, that's a bit more difficult. You might already know this. There's a man a lot of people are looking for in Avernum, a man who was a gladiator but escaped and now runs an outlaw gang out among the dunes. There's a substantial bounty on his head, but I think I can match that and even sweeten the deal with something special. He smiles, that mischievous smile of his when you ask him if a severed head will suffice. You misunderstand. I want the man alive. Here, he's worth much more than that. So we can... He's going to pay us more. I think I prefer to give it to him. Okay, so we accept that. Instead of giving that to the bounty office, I'm going to give it to him. Spying on the smelter's collegium. Scornar's gaze darkens. Them boys down in Scoria are not joking. What do you want to kick into that Irg nest for? You meet his stare. Only after a few seconds he smiles that mischievous smile. None of my business, I know. Forget my asking. You did a great service to Narbo and me, so I'll help you out for free. There you go. Tell you the truth, I don't like those Scoria smelter boys much. You go and start sniffing around. They're in their turf, and my guy will already be there to help you out. Just look for the blue mask tattoo on his arm. Okay, he'll keep his word. Anything else? Barter with him? No. Take your leave now. So we have gained a new ally here, which is fantastic. I think it's one of the best things that we have done so far. We don't have supplies anymore. So, let us rest because the next day we will have to go and go to the man called Gelludius Darrow. So I'm going to pay. These guys are unruly. Let's hit some of them. They are starving. So I'm going to go for better nutrition. Enjoy the hospitality of the Mansio. There we go. And now the new day has saved, but we are very low in money, which is not good. we'll have to think what we're going to do. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Stay tuned because this thing is getting very, very interesting.